I have a
right.
rant?
You are most welcome to have a rant.
Okay, so one of the things that happened while I was away was I got my blood test results back for my thyroid and just an SMS. So it appears you're being over medicated. We need to reduce your dosage. Let's try 175 alternate days and then come back again in 3 months for another blood test, see how we're doing. And I was just thinking how frustrated I am that I can't speak to someone about the lifestyle changes I'm making, my diet, and isn't there something else we can do? And could I potentially wean myself off this medication? And I was just thinking, because now I've started Googling the medication I'm on, it's called levothyroxine. And I said, what if I just go cold turkey and go off it? And all of the things say, don't do that. You'll get depression, you'll get blood pressure problems, you'll get this, you'll get that. So I just feel a bit stuck because it's like I can't go off the medication myself and I don't know how to, I don't want to stay on it, but I also don't know. And I just feel like I'm stuck, not really knowing what to do. And I'm frustrated that there's not a person I can talk to about it. And I was just thinking, when they put me on the medication 10 years ago, no one told me about any of these side effects. No one told me that I could have increased heart disease by being on this medication. Like I didn't know
Correct.
anything. And I've just been told, you have a disease, you need to be on this medication. Here's your dosage. And then for the past 10 years, I've just blindly accepted that this is my
Yeah,
fate.
correct.
Yeah, that's my rant.
Is that your rant? Is that the best you can do in terms of a rant? Jeez. Okay, cool. So yeah, I share your frustration there in terms of the healthcare system um, that you have to operate within. You know, like you say, nobody ever discusses the side effects or the potential side effects.
Yeah.
So even if it's a very legit reason that they are prescribing a drug, um, that they actually don't tell you anything,
Yeah.
and they leave it 100% up to you. Um, and then, secondly, as you say, you've made some lifestyle changes now. You feel like, okay, you know what? This is one of the things that I expect is going to improve on this lifestyle. Um, but I've got no one to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody that I can ask. There's nobody that I can get some advice from. So, so the recommendation is go on a lower dose for 3 months and
Yeah.
then get your bloods done again.
Yep.
And in terms of your research, the few articles or whatever that you read um, online that said don't go cold turkey. That was there anything that said this is best to wean yourself off of?
No, because everything I've ever seen about it or spoken to anyone about it is you just are on medication for the rest of your life. There's nothing you can do. But I'm just frustrated because there must be something
Yeah,
I can
that's not
do
true.
because the fact that my dosage has changed over the years means that something I'm doing is affecting it. So
Correct.
either I'm eating incorrectly and they've had to increase my dosage, or I'm not exercising enough, or I'm suddenly eating differently and now my dosage needs to decrease. There must be something I can do. And it's just frustrating that they don't talk to you about any of that. It's just, oh, well, just your blood tests have come back. Here's the results. We're going to try something else for the next 3 months and then
Yeah.
try something else again and then try something else again. So it's just, it's frustrating. It feels like I don't have any control over my own health.
Yeah. So that, I was going to kind of ask you about that. Is it a question of you don't trust your own judgment enough in terms of, well, you know what, I know what I am putting into my body, the kind of work that I'm doing, but I still don't trust myself in terms of my judgment, in terms of, well, you know what, if they say this is the dosage
Yeah.
that you require now, I think the assumption there is that you haven't made any lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is stupid.
So
I
you're
mean, they
still
don't
doing
ask you
the
that.
same
All they
things that you
ask
did
when I
before.
go when I go for my blood test,
Correct.
they say, "What dosage are you currently taking?" That's the only question they ask me. And I say the
Okay.
dosage you prescribed to me, 100 milligrams a day, or micrograms, or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
uh, and that's all that they record. And then they send an SMS saying, based on your latest blood test, here's your new dosage. I've sent your prescription to the pharmacy.
Which is obviously not good enough.
No.
But, and I think, you know, for just the way that I think about these things is, you know, it's my health.
Yeah.
I am responsible for that.
Yeah.
So obviously that doesn't mean that I'm going to do something, um, you know, that I don't feel is safe or beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
But I am willing um, to do something outside of the prescribed.
Yeah.
Um, and I fully understand. Okay, cool. If I decide to, in your case now, if people say that this is going to, I don't know, increase your blood pressure, cause, I don't know, anxiety or
Yeah.
depression or whatever, well, obviously now if you know to expect, and as soon as you kind of encounter any of those symptoms, then okay, cool. Then I can take it again. And
Yeah.
maybe look at it instead of every second I go to every third day,
Yeah.
or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. So I
Um,
think that is my
but
biggest fear is the because I remember how I felt before I was diagnosed and put on the medication and how I suppose depression might not be the correct term, but I was very emotional, very hypersensitive. And once I was on a stable dose of the medication, I do feel like my life improved in a number of ways. Um, so I am scared of going back to how I was 10 years ago.
yeah, correct. So, but a lot of things were different.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of things
a
were
lot of things
different
were
10
different.
years ago from
Yeah,
where you are now.
yeah,
You're not comfortable enough to kind of trust your own judgment in terms of, you know what, I can make the, I don't know, the just one day in longer in between,
yeah,
and then see how I feel.
yeah,
It is, especially because of the lifestyle changes that you made and that your body is kind of busy adapting to, and it seems like it has adapted to it well enough.
yeah,
Um, Part of that is to get rid of that particular health concern.
yeah, yeah.
What would give you the confidence
So what I'm
if
thinking,
a
yeah.
nameless text message convinces you to take this dosage, this offer? What would it take to convince you to do something slightly different?
Well, I think maybe one of the things that's in my head is before my last blood test, when they increased me to the higher dosage, the one before this one, I had been very unhealthy. I'd been eating unhealthily. I'd been drinking more. I'd been not exercising as much. Like, I know that at the time that I had that blood test, I wasn't in a very good space health wise. And so I expected it to be bad, and it was bad, and they increased my dosage. Now I'm not sure if the decrease is because of the lifestyle that I'm on or just because I've been healthier than I was back then. So I think I want to continue on the carnivore lifestyle for the next 3 months before my next blood test and see if they're still over medicating me and then see what that does and whether they bring me to an even lower dose after that. But I do also probably want to speak to another professional. So I have looked for endocrinologists, private endocrinologists, and there are none in my area, like none
Okay.
in my town. So I'd have to go quite far to speak to one, but I do think it is something important enough that I probably should do that.
Yeah, don't you find that it seems like there's a there's a gap, and I don't know if it's just particular to where you are and where I am, that if you want to see a specialist of that nature, because an endocrinologist you would think is only going to react on um, blood test results and that sort of thing. It's not that they have to poke and prod and
Mm-hmm.
whatever before they can
Mm-hmm.
kind of get to what it is. That there's not the ability to make I don't know, to do a Zoom
Zoom.
consultation.
Yeah.
Uh, because the other basic things like heart rate and blood pressure, etc., etc. I mean, those things are kind of quick and easy to
Yeah.
determine.
Yeah, you could just go do that at the
Um,
pharmacy and
Correct.
yeah.
And send those values through and so on, and then have a uh, a Zoom consultation
Yeah.
at at a fraction of the cost and also the time, etc., to get to somebody.
Yeah. I should definitely look into more options instead of just sitting here ranting and being frustrated. But it's just the way that it comes as just an SMS. I don't know. There's something just so
Correct.
impersonal, and
Yeah.
they don't know my story, they don't know my lifestyle, they don't ever ask me if I exercise, they don't ask me what I eat. Like there's no interest in
So,
anything other than
so
the
in other
blood
words,
result.
yeah, I think it's pretty well established that thyroid condition is to a large extent is a lifestyle condition,
Yeah.
and yet they know it. It's common knowledge, but they don't ask you about your lifestyle. And even though you are making these, you know, hugely positive lifestyle changes, um, that is not considered at all. Just kind of wrong. You see quite a lot of these people that say, "Oh, big pharma," they just want to get us all, hooked on the drugs,
Yeah.
uh, you know, um, and I don't think that there is kind of like a secret group of big pharma executives that get together every 6 weeks and discuss the plan, etc., etc. But I do think that it happens far too often
Yeah.
where somebody is prescribed a some sort of medication and you are kind of led to believe that this is a life sentence,
Mm-hmm.
whether that is depression, anxiety, um, thyroid, blood pressure, a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
And then the flip side of it is obviously that there's a hell of a lot of people that are just too happy that they don't have to go to the trouble of changing their lifestyle, that
Yeah.
they can just get
And I
by
think that, yeah,
drinking. Yeah,
that was probably me for a while because I remember, I mean, years ago, my mom had sent me an article that said, like, if you cut out gluten, it can improve your thyroid or whatever. And I was like, there's no ways I'm ever going to cut out gluten. So I'll just stay on the meds. That's fine.
yes,
But
let me pop the pills. Yeah, yeah.
so I can definitely see how that works. But I would love to be able to not have to take the medication. I don't even fully
Mm.
understand what it's doing to my body or yeah, I don't know.
100%. If you go and look at that list of side effects,
I
would you
know.
actually take it at
Yeah.
all?
The biggest one that I saw
Yeah,
when I've been looking is an increased risk of heart disease. And I'm like, well, I would rather prevent that at all costs than, I don't know,
yeah,
maybe some of the side effects I would have if I didn't take the medication. I don't know. Um,
yeah. Look, I do think that some of those side effects, it's like, I don't know, you don't know kind of like what that um, group where the tests were done to determine the side effects, and it's
yeah.
obviously been over, I don't know, years or a reasonable time period and so on. So you don't know whether that is just such a small risk and whether it is potentially going to. But it is quite scary to
Yeah.
read that list. Um, even even normal headache tablets. Have
Yeah.
you have you ever read the potential side effects of that? You know, it's like,
All of them say
wow.
don't operate heavy machinery.
Correct. And don't consume with alcohol
Yeah.
and all of those kind of warnings,
Yeah.
which are ignored all the
Yeah.
time. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
think that was what I wanted to rant about. Just kidding. I just thought it was really funny when I got the message saying, we're over medicating you, go on to a lower dosage.
Yeah, not even a congratulations, well done.
Yeah.
Nothing like
Yeah.
that. That is interesting. So if you think about it, this is at 3 month intervals. Now I don't know how quickly these levels can change, but is it? I mean, in your case, you were kind of expecting this was kind of like the desired outcome.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's say you didn't make
Actually
any
thought that
lifestyle
well, I don't
changes.
know. I actually don't, they sent me the results, but I don't know how to interpret them. But they they decided let's try 175 every other day. 100 and then 75, 175. Uh, but I was hoping that I would be on an even lower dosage by now. So I don't
Okay,
know if that's just them being conservative because they don't want to jump me from 100 to
correct.
75 every day. Or so
Again, because
I
they
don't
don't
really
have the
know.
context.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could have explained to somebody the context, and these are the changes that I have made, and therefore I am getting more of X, Y, and Z
Yeah.
on a daily basis, they maybe would have said, okay, yeah, no, that's way too much. You know, if you're going to stick to that, then you can
Yes.
go to, mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I understand that. It is. I, so it'll be interesting to hear once you've had a chance to kind of think this through and maybe do a little bit more research if you stick to the plan of okay cool, I'm going to do as the text message said
Yeah.
for another 3 months and then um, or if you are actually going to say you know what I found the following and I am going to do I don't know, something different.
Yeah.
It'll just be interesting to kind of hear how this plays out.
Yeah. Let's see.
Um, yeah, I am. I'm at this point in my journey. I'm very comfortable to make some of those decisions
Yeah.
and go. You know what? You don't have any of the context, and I am willing to do this experiment. And so obviously I'm fortunate in the sense that I don't have to take any medication.
Yeah.
But like even with my supplements, you know the magnesium and the cramps and the whatever, I'm happy to take that away and see how it goes.
Yeah.
See, uh, and in the same way that I kind of like do these experiments with what I eat, how much I eat, different times of the day, and so on. I'm constantly busy tinkering with something. But I suppose it is a um, as you say, if there's a memory that says I can clearly remember how I felt,
Yeah.
and I don't want to go back there, then I can understand the hesitance to
Yeah.
kind of go out on a limb and try an experiment.
Yeah. I think maybe I need to do a bit more research because it also shows kind of my last four test results and what the values were for the
Okay,
free TSH, free serum and TSH, whatever. Anyway, serum TSH and what's the other one? The other one,
yeah,
T4, T4.
yes,
So if I can find out what is a good
100%.
then I can figure it out because they show you the correct range and they show you your test results over the last 4 times you've had a test. Um, I mean,
Yes.
it's changed. It's fluctuated all the time. This is the other thing that's frustrating me a bit is they keep changing my medication and I keep fluctuating. I'm not getting level, which
Mm.
I was level for 10 years almost when I was living in South Africa. And so I was on a stand. I didn't have to keep changing. And I just am confused about why I have to keep changing. But
Okay.
yeah.
Look, I'm pretty sure I've watched some content from the carnivore community
Mm-hmm.
where thyroid has been discussed. So if you do a bit more research, I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll find something.
Yeah.
It will be quite interesting to hear what you kind of make of it.
Yeah.
So is that the only test that they do?
Yeah.
Because I wonder if it's not a question of, um, I don't know, um, if you're, I don't know, I'm just making shit up here. So if your vitamin B12 is low, then
Yeah.
there's also a chance that you are not going to process X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Is there's kind of these things have different effects on each other. So just looking
Yeah.
at one in isolation, that's saying like, you know, if a car doesn't want to start, you can't just check whether there's fuel in the car or not.
Yeah.
Um, so it feels like there's a couple of things that you have to check at the same time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure you'll update me on this as you.
I'll try to figure it out. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but other than that, I'm enjoying the carnivore lifestyle mostly.
Okay.
I
Mostly.
mostly, well, it's
Yeah.
I don't know how to even describe it. Some things I find it very easy to say no to, and some things I struggle with a bit more. But
Sure.
actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't actually felt like having anything sweet the past couple of days. The thing I've missed is my Greek yogurt. But I've
Okay.
been replacing that. I've had kefir, so I've been using that
Yeah.
instead. Um,
That's good.
yeah,
So it's an interesting observation there. You said, you know what, actually now if I think about it, I didn't feel like something, so it's not like you're sitting there and you're going, oh, I'm missing this or I'm missing that, etc.
yeah,
It is when you find yourself in a situation where that is presented to you or whatever, like when you
yeah,
travel and so on,
yeah,
then maybe, okay, cool. Yeah, and I fully agree with the way that you handled that and said, hey, I'm in a different country. I want to experience some of the cuisine. I want to try
mm,
this. Um, and do it guilt free. And then coming back and feeling like, you know what, it is now so easy to go back into the routine
yeah,
that I don't actually, once I'm kind of back in my own routine, but I don't miss these other things. I
yeah.
think it's a very positive step, and it's a hell of a long way from where you thought you would be.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to ask you, I think you might have mentioned this before, did you get to a point where you can eat a lot less uh, protein than you were eating in the beginning? Because I definitely feel now I'm fuller, quicker.
Quicker.
Yeah. And I didn't know if that was part of me just being sick of steak. I've had too much steak, or if actually my body's adjusted to the point that I don't need as much protein as I needed in the beginning. Not sure.
Um, so yes, I definitely am also at a point where I eat slightly less.
Yeah.
Not massive, maybe 200 gram, in terms of a piece of steak, maybe 200 grams or 300 grams less um, than in the beginning, where I could, I could easily eat like 1.2 kilograms
Yeah.
of meat a day. Whereas now I'm not nearly, um, I'm not even close to that. I think I'm probably close to averaging around about 750 grams a day.
Okay.
Not that I measure it and so on. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like by judging how much I eat. So yes, that has definitely come down a
Yeah.
bit. If I look at how some people, from the community that post on social media, that I ate two steaks and six fried eggs.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, I will have trouble. I
Yes.
if I haven't eaten for 24 hours, then maybe I will be able to do that. But
Yeah.
it does look like quite a lot of food.
Yeah.
So it's very much on an individual basis
Yes.
what your body requires.
Because I feel like I'm a bit nervous I'm going to waste some of my steak now because when it arrived I planned out, okay, this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I put it in the
Yeah.
fridge, and then I'm not able to eat that much. So now I'm thinking, oh, this is all going to go to waste because I'm not going to get through all of it. I don't know what to do with it. So
Steak will never go to waste.
yeah,
It won't, because just cook it, put it in the free in
and keep
the
it
in the
for
freezer or the
yeah,
fridge.
yeah,
Um, so that's kind of like um, my routine is I always cook more than I'm going to consume, because tomorrow, if I do feel like eating something during the day, I don't snack on other things and so on.
yeah,
Then I will, okay, cool, there's a piece of steak in the fridge. Look, I don't know. I'm very fortunate in the sense that I don't feel like I have to mix it up, and
yeah,
I want something different, etc. Good old steak is fine for me.
yeah, yeah. I
So I'm
I
not worried
definitely have
about
been
any
feeling.
wastage.
Yeah, like I need other things. So I think last night I did some bacon and eggs with my steak
Okay.
or
Yeah, yeah.
something different. And I'm still eating gherkins
Mm.
every other day, a
Yeah,
couple of gherkins or whatever. But
correct.
yeah. But
Yeah,
drinking
that's good
kefir every
discipline.
day, usually in the morning and in the evening. Trying to remember to take a magnesium tablet when I eat my dinner. Um, I definitely have been getting fewer cramps, but still cramping a little
Okay.
bit every now and again.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. And I haven't had
Are you
energy though for exercise. I've been forcing myself to walk or to run or whatever, but I haven't really been feeling motivated to do it. But I think it could also just be coming off a holiday
okay?
where I wasn't eating
Sure.
that well.
Are you eating enough salt?
Loads of salt. Yeah, lots of salt.
Okay. Okay.
I'll put salt on
Okay.
everything. And I'm using the nice flakes, the sea salt flakes.
Okay.
um
Nice.
So yeah, lots of salt. The one thing that has not been a positive side effect, but it's not my main reason for doing this. My main reason is that I would like to come off my medication, and that's what my goal is. Um,
Yeah.
but weight loss would have been a nice, a nice side effect. And at the moment, I have maybe lost 1 kilogram. My mom laughed at me. She asked me yesterday because I've been doing this for day 37. And she said, how much weight have you lost? And I said, maybe 1 kilogram. And she laughed. She said, that's a stupid diet.
Well, it's not a diet, you
Yeah,
see, because it's
exactly.
it's it's a lifestyle change.
Yeah,
So, you know, based on everything that I've seen
yeah,
in the community, is be patient with that.
yeah,
As long as the other things are positive, etc., etc., then the weight loss will kick in
yeah,
at some point.
yeah.
When you
Well,
get to that point,
my other
yeah,
big positives are hair health and nails. My nails have been amazing, which they're not
correct.
usually. So I definitely
Yeah,
am noticing positives. But also I think I'm not putting too much pressure on it because I have cheated a few times. I haven't followed it religiously. Um,
sure.
but it's definitely been good for me to overcome some of my sugar addiction and bread addiction, carbs addiction.
Yeah,
So I feel much stronger in that sense that I can say no to those things. Um, yeah,
which don't you think that those things will actually translate into other areas of your life that is not around eating at all? Because we have the sense of who we are and what we're capable of, etc. And if you kind of walk with this thing of, oh, I'll never be able to give up sugar, or I'll never be able to give up
Mm-hmm.
this, etc. Those things, in my opinion, kind of translate into the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And now you can feel like you're a much stronger person
Yeah.
because you know what, I did overcome that. I do feel more in control. Um, I think that that is a very positive thing to realize and kind of look for those other areas in your life where it translates to.
Yeah. Well, that almost takes us full circle to episode 1, where we spoke about reading. And I said I felt like I would never be a reader because I just couldn't get through a
Yes.
book. And I am a reader now. Finally finished The Fountainhead, and I'm almost finished an
Okay.
Agatha Christie that I took with me on holiday, and I'm enjoying reading. And so that was just over a year ago when I said I'll never be a reader. No, more than a year
Nice.
ago. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So now that you finished Fountainhead, we can have that conversation about which one of the two you
Oh, it's an
prefer.
easy answer for me. I
Is
much
it?
preferred Atlas Shrugged. Yeah, I found Fountainhead a very
Okay.
difficult read. I
Okay.
mean, I like the concepts in it and everything, and I still appreciate it, but I did find it a tougher read. I found
Okay.
Atlas Shrugged made me want to keep going, and a few times with Fountainhead, I thought, oh, I could put this down and not pick it up again.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
And anything interesting on your list to read in the near future?
Um, my dad just left a book behind. Uh, Keeper of the Bride is on my list. It's a murder mystery type. My dad likes the same books as me, so
Okay.
there's that one. And then also I really want to read the Stephen Covey Speed of Trust. The one thing that changes everything. It's more of a business book. And what else do I have? I've still got to finish 12 Rules for Life. That one
Okay.
I got stuck in, but I'm still gonna get back into that one. Um, and yeah, those are the ones on my list at the moment. I've got a few other Agatha Christie murder mysteries that I bought at the charity shops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So
Agatha
you've got.
Christie is from Torquay, so this is her
Oh,
home. So
nice.
yeah, it's really interesting. The
Okay.
books have quite a Torquay or Devon at least focus, so you can
Nice.
recognize the places and
Wow. Okay. Cool.
yeah,
That must make a difference to
yeah.
when you read it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's interesting. Yeah. So maybe next time we can chat about one or two of the books that I've well, one I listened to and one that I'm reading, and I'll kind of finish that in the next week or so.
Interesting.
Um,
When last did you read a book, Herman? I know you
yeah, I've got
listen
to
to them
think.
all the time.
Yeah, yeah, I listen to them all the time. But the last time that I read a book, I think was a probably sometime last year, because there was a book that I was really interested in, and there was no audio version of it available, so I was kind of forced to read that. And the same with the book that I'm reading now.
Okay.
It is only a short book. It's only 165 pages.
Okay.
So, but yeah, interesting topics, and it kind of gets me. Well, it got me thinking about some of the things that I'm uh, not dealing with, but wondering about in terms of from a team perspective, etc., and also about how people think.
Mhm.
Um, anyway, it won't make sense now. I've got to
Okay,
kind of
maybe we'll talk about that one
at
though
another time. At another
next
time,
time.
we'll talk
Okay.
about it. The book I listened to is called Human Diversity by Charles Murray.
Okay.
Very interesting um, research that he talks about, and so on. There's a couple of topics that are generally avoided. Um, but I think it's extremely important to kind of talk about these things and so on. So you can imagine human diversity. It talks about things about race, socioeconomic circumstances that people grow up. It touches on intelligence and how that is influenced and so on. But I found it fascinating and very informative. Um, and definitely not in terms of what people would think is that this can. So yeah. Um, these people are smarter than these people are smarter than those people. Not that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously there are those that will not read the book and make up their mind about that will be the conclusion. Anyway,
Yeah.
so really interesting thoughts around that, which is kind of um, made me think about a few other aspects, which either is not, as far as I know, is not kind of talked about in the book, but things where I want to do a little bit more research and understand um, people's thought processes along other categories rather than just race, nationality, etc. Anyway, we'll chat about that at
Sounds
another
very
time.
interesting. Are you going to say what the book is that you've been reading?
The book I've been reading has got a really strange title. So let me just quickly find it before I. Intelligence, All That Matters.
Author?
And Stuart Ritchie.
Okay.
Just from a purely academic point of view. Um, and Dr. Stuart Ritchie is a postdoctoral research fellow at the Center for Cognitive Aging and Cognitive Epidemiology at the University of Edinburgh's Department of Psychology.
Okay.
So, well, I don't know. The book wasn't written that long ago. I can't find it now. But yeah, I'll send you the detail.
Cool. We'll have to have a
Okay.
book review session.
Yeah, we'll do
Thank
that.
you.
Thanks.